The dwarfs? Have they all gone mad?
They do appear to be quite mad.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 action dark fantasy film, The Death of Snow White. The film is co-written and directed by Jason Brooks, and it stars Sene Lotsis. I'm sure I've pronounced that incorrectly, and apologies if I have. We've got Chelsea Edmondson, Tristan Noakes, Meredith Binder, Risa May, Ali Chapman, and Jeremy Hallam. Right, okay, this is the retelling of the story of Snow White from a dark fantasy perspective, focusing on Snow White, who, you know, is the light of everyone's life, but her evil stepmother, the evil queen, can't stand her, is constantly seeking for, you know, the fountain of youth, if you like. She wants to be youthful, so she can't stand the youthful energy and beauty of Snow White and how much she's so revered by everybody. So she kind of basically puts a plan in action to sort her out. She runs off into the woods, Snow White, aligns herself with 7 bloodthirsty warrior dwarfs and goes head to head with the evil queen and her minions. Right. What are my thoughts on The Death of Snow White? Well, this is quite an ambitious film. I'll say that much for it, certainly. You know, they are bravely trying to tell this story of Snow White in a year where Disney absolutely ballsed up the thing anyway. So if Disney can't get it right, you know, could these guys get it right? Well, they certainly probably delivered a better film than the Disney one. Not that I've seen that one and never will. So this is a much more adult take on the story. This is definitely not a fairy tale for kids, this film. There is lots of blood, guts, gore, nastiness. It's a very, very dark, grim take on the whole fairy tale. Some of that works for the film, some of it doesn't. I think for me, it's very much the familiar tale of Snow White that, you know, we all kind of grew up watching and understanding and all that kind of stuff. But like they've put this violent twist on it. You know, turning, like I say, the dwarfs into savage, violent, hungry yobbos, I suppose. And that's quite amusing to see at times. I didn't buy into a lot of the characters here. I think one of the biggest letdowns of this film is some of the performances aren't strong enough to carry the film. I thought the young lady that played Snow White, and I'm not going to try and pronounce her name again because I'll just get it wrong. It was almost like she was trying too hard at times. Other actors in the film, just simply, I didn't believe the performance that they were giving. I thought the best performance in the film was Chelsea Edmondson's portrayal as the evil queen. She was genuinely a nasty piece of work who would essentially experiment on people just to try and find that next thing that's going to make her look a tad younger or keep, you know, hang on to her beauty in some way that she's got. She was genuinely a nasty piece of work. But the film, for me, I think, lacked energy at times. It lacked. I don't know. It was almost like at times they were going for humour that was misplaced. It didn't feel right in the film. It felt tonally a little bit off to me at times. and it failed, I think, to capture the spirit of Snow White, if you like. There was no chemistry between some of the characters on screen. I mean, you're supposed to have chemistry between Snow White and Prince Charming. Other than them saying the words and gazing into each other's eyes, you didn't really buy it. There were the dwarves that, to be honest, other than screaming and running about and swearing here and there, they didn't have a great deal to do in the film, in my opinion. And it kind of suffered from a lack of locations as well. It was either shots in the woods sort of thing or shots in the castle that wasn't really a castle. It was just a room made out to look like kind of castle-y stuff were going on in there. So it felt claustrophobic, the film. It needed to kind of spread its wings, open up, and, you know, really paint this picture of this world that everybody was living in, sort of thing. And it was just kind of back and forth with scenes with Snow White and sort of Snow White with the dwarves, or a little action scene here, and then it would jump to the evil queen in the castle, barking orders at somebody, or torturing somebody, or the evil witch, you know, doing this, that, and the other. It was kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so it felt, like I say, it felt confined and claustrophobic, and it didn't feel like it was kind of spreading its wings anywhere near enough as what it needed to. So it's an interesting take on the tale, for sure. Is it worth your time? Probably not. It's bang average at best. You know, there are some pretty decent effects here. I thought some of the makeup effects were done quite well. It's violent and bloody, I suppose, but it's also tonally a little bit off. Not great pacing, and some of the performances also let it down. So yeah, that's my thoughts on The Death of Snow White. If you are a huge fan of this kind of stuff, then you probably find something here to enjoy. The rest of us probably need to give this one a wide berth. So thanks for joining me for this review, guys. I hope you liked it. I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.